Whoa. Oh, it's just you guys. Whew, thought you guys were an enemy or something. Had me nervous for a second. Hey guys, Courier6 here with the Kaladesh Express, your #1 source for Universes Beyond, and I'm here at the City of the Ancients today doing field research on the upcoming Final Fantasy Universes Beyond set. I've gained some real deep insights, found this ancient sword used by Genesis himself, and I actually also ran into this beautiful woman in a pink dress. I didn't get a chance to talk to her though. She seemed completely frazzled. She was rushing down to the altar down below. I don't know what that was all about, but I hope she's okay. I'm sure she's fine. But anyway, I'm about to head back to the office and prepare this super sick predictions video for you guys. I've got some great information and did you guys see that? That was a legendary hero Sephiroth. I wonder what he's doing down here. Guys, I want to go make this prediction video for you, but this could be pivotal to my research. Go find Sephiroth, follow him, see what he's up to, and I'll be right back, okay? Alright.
A few minutes later.
Guys, the girl in the pink dress is not okay. Alright guys, let's get into the actual predictions now. Sorry about the long intro, I just thought I'd have a little goof on you, have a little gaff. Every main hero and villain from Final Fantasy is going to be represented. I think this one's probably pretty obvious. The other part of that prediction is I think we're going to have a lot more side characters represented in the Universes Beyond Final Fantasy crossover than you probably thought. And the precedence comes from the Doctor Who and especially the Fallout Universes Beyond. They went super deep with the Fallout Universes Beyond. I did not expect to see Ian from Fallout 1 or Sofia de Guerra from Fallout 76 to show up, and they were good representations of those characters as well. I think they're probably going to do the same thing for Final Fantasy, especially since I think a lot more Wizards people are Final Fantasy fans than they are Fallout fans. I think we can expect to see characters like Final Fantasy VII's Yuffie, obviously, but also characters like Final Fantasy IX's Steiner, and maybe even Final Fantasy IV's Tella, if we're lucky. They have a history of really caring about the properties that they deal with when they do these Universes Beyond crossovers, and I don't expect that to change here. Alright, next prediction is lands. I expect a bunch of lands to get both legendary and non-legendary reprints, and even some totally unique lands for the Final Fantasy VII crossover. Again, the precedent's been set in the other Universes Beyond crossovers, like the Mount Doom from Lord of the Rings, or just the myriad of lands from the Fallout Universes Beyond crossover. But some specific predictions I have would be like Cosmos Canyon as Sunbait Canyon from Final Fantasy VII. We could have Altissa from Final Fantasy 15 as the Mystic Gate. Balamb Gardens from Final Fantasy VIII could be some kind of creature-producing land. Not sure exactly which land that would be a good reprint of. I don't think Den of the Bugbear works because it makes goblins, but some kind of creature-producing land. As far as completely unique lands, I think things like the 4 Crystal Shrines or Castle Quinaria from Final Fantasy I make great candidates for new legendary lands that aren't reprints. I don't know, I just expect to see a lot of really cool lands and some really cool artwork. Next prediction, and this one's again probably pretty obvious, but I think classes return, and I think the first one announced is going to be the Dragoon class, as it is the most famous class from Final Fantasy.
May I have this dance?
Classes and jobs have been vital to Final Fantasy since basically the beginning. Also, classes could give some unique design space for the heroes from Final Fantasy III, like having classes on the battlefield could augment their abilities or their stat lines, things like that. Alright, small prediction, but I think Moogles will be blue-coated fairy artificer type creatures. Their effects will be something similar to cards like Trinket Mage or Trophy Mage. That's basically how Moogles have been treated in all of Final Fantasy and even in Kingdom Hearts, so that's basically where I expect it to land. Alright, next big prediction, I expect to have a bunch of sagas based on very memorable moments throughout Final Fantasy. Some specific ones would be like the Nibelheim incident, probably gonna get a saga about that. Aerith's death from Final Fantasy VII is another one I expect to see a saga about. Spoilers, I'm sorry. And maybe even Lightning returning could be a saga. It was the name of a whole game, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, next prediction, this one's kind of specific. I think limit breaks will be represented in flip creatures, like the new planeswalkers from Modern Horizons 3, or just flip creatures in the past, like the werewolves. Characters like Cloud and Sephiroth, using flip cards to represent their limit breaks I think is a very cool design space. Kind of feels like transforming in a Dragon Ball Z sense, I guess. I think it would also work for Final Fantasy crossover. Next prediction, this is going to be a very equipment centric and focused set. I thought Fallout was going to be very equipment focused, and it had its deck. It had its one moment of like big equipment stuff. I feel like that could have been done more, but I think this is the moment to have a big equipment focused set. There is so much legendary equipment in the Final Fantasy universe, both named like famous legendary equipment or just equipment types like the Dragoon Spear. That could be a piece of equipment. Cloud's Buster Blade could obviously be a pretty cool piece of equipment. Cloud's other sword from Advent Children could be a piece of equipment. Vincent's pistols could be a sick piece of equipment. There's a huge space here for a bunch of equipment, and like half of the reason Final Fantasy is big is because collecting all the different legendary swords and bows and what's not. This is probably the place for an equipment set, and I would be shocked if we did not get at least 10 really cool pieces of equipment for Commander from this set. All right, another weird prediction. Optional bosses like the ones you'd find roaming the fields of Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry I keep referencing that one. I've played other Final Fantasy games, I promise. I've just played this one the most recently. But yeah, big optional bosses like you could find in the fields of Final Fantasy 15 will be big impactful creatures, but not legendary creatures. Think like Cultivator Colossus, where it's clearly a really impactful creature, but it's not legendary. You know what I mean? All right, this is kind of a weird prediction, but I think things like Final Fantasy, the Spirits Within, and other external media like that is not going to be represented in this set. It's going to be very focused on the mainline games, with the exception of any extra media that directly relates to Final Fantasy VII. It is the most famous game in the series. It is the most popular game in the series. Yeah, and I don't see them not having characters like Zack, Angeal, and Genesis, so I think that will be the exceptions to the rule, but other than Final Fantasy VII, all external media will probably be left out. That being said, there is one more thing that might have a chance that is technically external media, and that is references to Final Fantasy Dissidia and Dissidia Duodecim. I think those have a chance to be represented in there because they were already a big crossover Final Fantasy event game. So maybe that. Also, this is not so much a prediction, but a wish. I really hope they reference Cloud and Sephiroth's time in Super Smash Bros. I know they probably can't for a myriad of reasons, but just like some kind of like cheeky, tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that they were fighting alongside Mario and Bowser would be really funny. Let's get into some hyper-specific predictions now. Garland from Final Fantasy I will be a night creature that reanimates himself, because that's kind of what he does. He's always reincarnating himself throughout the games. Treasure tokens will be reskinned as Gil. That one's pretty obvious. There'll be a saga that depicts Leon's betrayal from Final Fantasy II. I think that is very likely to happen. Sidna's airship will be a character-vehicle combo, and Chocobos will be the return of mounts as a mechanic from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I think that would be really cool. If they do not have the fat Chocobo from Final Fantasy III, I will be livid. I need to see that big boy. Characters like Kain, Rydia, and Golbez will have legendary cards, but they will be at the uncommon level. Yoshitaka Amano, the guy who does the title cards for all of the Final Fantasy games, the ones that look like this, he will be doing variant art for all of the main characters from Final Fantasy 1 to 16, and probably some other major characters in the series as well. 4 old men pretending to be the 4 warriors of light will be represented as a clone card. I think that'd be really funny. This is a little bit of a weird one, but do you guys remember that laugh from Final Fantasy X?
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
Well, that's going to be reskinned as Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I am so sorry I made you listen to all of that. It's just I need someone else to remember this horror with me. Oh, and blindness will be represented as an enchantment aura that makes a creature unable to attack or block, kind of like a draft removal spell. And that is my full list of predictions for the Final Fantasy Universes Beyond crossover. I know some of them were kind of specific, but I have some things I'd really like to see in this set, and I just hope we get them. That's what a prediction videos is for, Some of you lore nerds might have noticed I only mentioned some Final Fantasy games, and that's because I have only played some of the Final Fantasy games. I played a lot of the 3D generation of Final Fantasy games, 7, 8, 9. I played some of 15, some of 13. I played 1 and 2 way back in the day. But I don't pretend to be a huge, massive Final Fantasy nerd. There are some stuff I really like, but, I'm not playing them all. I haven't played them all, and I definitely haven't played the MMO ones. So definitely leave your Final Fantasy predictions down below. I probably will make a follow-up to this video as we get closer, but I wanted to have something out now to see how right I am with my predictions. And yeah, I do plan to get more into Final Fantasy before the Final Fantasy set comes out, if you'd like to see me do that live, I will probably be live streaming some Final Fantasy sometime soon, so definitely like and subscribe for that. I'll then be able to send a notification out to you when I do go live with Final Fantasy. So yeah, but that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you later. All right, everybody, let's mosey.